Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 3 of the classical guitar conversion to a steel strung acoustic guitar. So in episode 2 I had removed the classical guitar neck from the body, and I'd filled some of the holes and the gaps and things with filler. And I was saying that the next stage is hours and hours of tedious sanding. Yeah. So as far as the body is concerned, I've sanded off all the finish all the way around, and it's only a rough sanding at the moment. It's by no means ready for painting yet. I just wanted to get all of the finish off. Now, interestingly, this binding, which is just painted on, that stayed on there. So I don't know, bit weird. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter because I've discovered now. I said it was something I had to think about, whether I was going to finish this in shellac, which I would prefer to do, or paint it. And because of the the wood and all the rest of it, and all this stuff, I am going to be painting it. I'd rather not, but I would rather finish it in shellac. And if it was a more expensive guitar, then I would strive to do that. But it's only a cheapie, so I've just got to wipe the lens here. Oh dear. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's only a cheap guitar, so I'm not too worried. As I said, I prefer not to paint it. I would prefer to finish it in shellac. It looks nicer, it's quicker, easier, all the rest of it. But there it is. It's going to be difficult to get this to look nice under a shellac finish. Well, it'd be impossible, really. And like I said, this is nowhere near finished sanding yet. I've just I've got all the finish off all the way around, and it's kind of hard to see, but this whole thing, back and sides at least, is covered in filler anyway. And I'm going to be doing more of that on the top eventually, but I'm not going to be doing any of the sanding or finishing on this guitar until the neck's on. There's just no point, because well, there's no point. So I'm going to wait until the whole thing is together, the neck is in and set and everything, and then I'll do all of the sanding of the neck and the body and the finishing all together. Painting. Still not quite decided yet what colour I'm going to paint it. That's neither here nor there right now, because that's going to be one of the last stages of this conversion. So the other thing was the neck that I'd taken out. Now it does still have most of the finish on it, but I have sanded it to a flat finish, and more around the heel, because I put the heel block on here and cut the dovetail. But I'm not happy with it at all. It's really come out badly. It didn't go well at all. First of all, it's too small. There's far too much real estate all around here. Okay, that's a good gluing surface, but it's too much. And I don't know how well you can see it. It's not perfectly even. It's not bad, but it's a little bit far off. And I tried to do it on my router table with a template on there, and it just didn't work. It was a proper mess. And I've tried to fix it with filler, and it's no good. So I've decided I'm going to cut this off and start all over again, because it's just a mess. And that's why I'm glad I did it on this neck first, rather than the neck that's going on this guitar. So this really was a test, and it's gone horribly wrong. So I'm going to be cutting that off, and I'm going to start again with that. But that's not necessary right now. Now that I know the mistake or a few mistakes I've made with this, I'll know how to do the next one. And as I said, I did use a template. I think this is one of the first ones that I made up. So, you know, that's the actual shape of the dovetail, which goes on the top like that. And you know, I've got this piece here as well, so that it was easier to, you know, to get the whole thing secured on there, and with a sort of a V cut out of there so that I could find the center line. And I mean, this is just plywood, and is my first prototype. I think the template itself is okay. The problem is there's, you know, apart from this surface, you've got nothing for, and I said I did it on the router table, so it would have been this way with the neck standing up, and I went, you know, around it that way, and it just didn't work well at all. So as I said, that one's coming off, and I'm going to start that one again. So this is the first. Is the prototype of the dovetail neck dovetail joint template, and it's not. I don't think it's any good for this project. I'm not going to bin it. That will be probably quite useful for like ukuleles and things like that, smaller instruments. So I'm going to keep that. But I did also make quite a few more. So there's this one. So I downloaded the pattern off the internet for a neck dovetail template, and I cut it out from plywood with my laser engraver so that I knew it was accurate. So this, you know, it comes into two pieces. So that would be to do the body, and that would be to do the neck. So this one is the same size and dimensions as this one. So this one is also too small for this project. Let's see. You know, before I realised it was too small, I made another prototype. So this one is with perspex or acrylic, whatever you prefer to call it. And you know, you got that piece and that piece. That obviously came straight out of there. But again, too small. But you know, I took quite a long time to make these templates, and they're not going to be binned. I'm going to be keeping those. So once I discovered that the whole thing was a bit too small, I got back onto my laser engraving software, and I expanded the thing. I made it bigger. And if I show you this one again, first of all. Wait 1 second. Get in there. Sorry, 1 minute. So this was the original one that I'd made, and this is the next one. So I think it's. Hold on, let me just turn it the other way, so they're the same way up. I think you can see it's a little bit longer, top to bottom, and quite a bit wider. Can you see that? I think you can. Just come back with the light a bit. Yeah, so, you know, so this original one, it's just too small for this project, so I made another one which is a bit longer, top to bottom, and it's also quite a bit wider, which this part here is difficult to cut. And now, because it's a lot wider, it's much easier. So this one again is made from ply. It's actually 3mm ply, but I've got 3 pieces stuck together. So you know, it's that's in there tight. Yeah, so you know, that's basically for the body, and that is for the neck. Now the problem with plywood is, even though it's about 9mm thick, I don't know how well you're going to see that, but it flexes. So you know, this part would be off the back of the neck, and you know, that would normally be the support, but the whole thing flexes, even though that's 9mm thick plywood. And as you know, plywood is one layer that way, one layer that way, then another one that way, that way, that way, the grain I mean. So that's why plywood is strong, but that's still flexing a lot. This one should be okay. This one is for the body of the guitar, so that one should be okay. But just in case, I made another one, and this one is perspex, acrylic, plexiglass, whatever you want to call it, and this is 10mm thick. This does not flex at all. And obviously you've got the advantage of it being see-through. You know, you can align it better on the instrument. And you know, because it's tougher material than plywood, this will be better for, you know, for routing around. And on that topic, I bought some router bits. I've only got one here at the moment. I'm expecting 2 more exactly the same. And you know, they're the proper dovetail router bits. It's just a little bit big, really, for my liking. I would have preferred it to be a bit smaller. So the diameter across this edge is, I think it's 12.7mm, and the depth of it from here to this collar bearing is about the same, about 12.7mm. We'll say 13mm high and wide. We'll just say that. It's just round it up. So for my liking, it's a little bit too big, but I did try this with one of these, but without this bearing on. It's a guide collar. I'm not sure what you call it, but this is to guide the router bit so that it's, you know, against the inside of the template. So, you know, that bearing goes around the inside like this, so that, you know, your cut is accurate. And I did this with one of these that didn't have this on, because I was trying to, you know, adjust the depth and everything, and I think that's one of the reasons why it went so horribly wrong. So I am going to be using this one next time with the bearing on the guide collar. I'm not sure of the proper name for it, but it is basically a guide, so that, you know, when you're going around your template, that goes around the edge of the template to keep your cut accurate. So I'm going to use this one to cut the joint in the body. Now I've already got the area marked with pencil, you know, where it's going to be going. So this line down here is obviously the center line, so that I can center it, and I've got a center line all the way down the front of the guitar as well, all the way down here, all the way down, so that it, you know, I was certain it was going to be accurate and centered. Now the disadvantage with this template, because it's not flexible, if you look across the top of the guitar here, it's not flat, it is curved, obviously, and this doesn't flex, so there's not going to be much surface area where it's making contact. You know, potentially you've got this possibility. It's not going to happen, but I would have preferred more contact area, but not feasible. And, you know, if I were to use the plywood one, obviously that's going to flex a bit, and I'll be able to, you know, get more surface contact area. But I am going to be using this one. I think this is going to be better to use with the router. It's going to be more accurate, and also, like I said, because it's see-through, I can see what I'm doing more, and I'm really not going to get that much more contact area with this one. Maybe an extra millimeter each side, which is not going to make a lot of difference. Right, so I need to prepare this template. Now, the method I'm going to use is the masking tape and super glue method. For those of you who don't know what that is, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm just going to lift the camera up a bit and point it down so that you can better see what I'm doing, hopefully. Right, sorry, bear with me 1 second. Right, so if I now tilt that down, okay, let's just turn that back a bit. Right, so as I said, I've already got masking tape. I don't know if I did say or not, but I've already got masking tape on the surface here, lined up with those lines on the outside there. So I'm going to do the same with the back of this template and line it up with these edges here. So, where is my masking tape? There it is. Right, so I'm going to put some masking tape along the edge of the template as well, along those inner edges, as accurately as I can. Make sure that is really stuck down on there. I think it's called burnishing, when you basically make sure that it's well stuck, and you can use any sort of blunt edge to, you know, sort of rub over it to make sure that's properly stuck down. I mean, the good thing about masking tape, as you know, is it peels off usually without leaving any residue. Right, so that's one piece. Excuse me. And the next. Going right? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Right, so then we've got masking tape stuck to the template and masking tape stuck to the top of the guitar. And then what you do is you put some super glue, you can't see that, you put some super glue on the tape here and here, not too much, you only need super glue is less is more, so you put a little bit of glue here, and then onto the other masking tape, so that it sticks like super glue, but when you finish the job, you're just peeling off the masking tape, so that the masking tape here sticks to the masking tape here with super glue, and the tape is stuck on here, the tape is stuck on here, and that will hold that really, really well while you do your job. And then when it's finished, you can take it off, just peel off the masking tape, and there's no marks, there's no glue residue, nothing. It's really a good method, and this is used for many, many different types of things. And I like it. It doesn't always work, but I'll be honest, I did do a test fitting of this off camera, and it did work. So, yeah, if the glue comes out, it works. You still can't see what I'm doing, can you? So, like I said, you don't need a lot. In fact, the more you use, the less likely it is to stick, strangely enough. That's just the nature of how super glue works. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit lumpy, don't want that. Right. So, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but I've got basically a smear of glue on both of those bits of tape. Now the crucial part now is to make sure that I line it all up properly before that sticks down. So, where's my marks? I've covered them up with the tape. Let's just move that across a bit. I've got a couple of pencil line marks on the front of the guitar that I line up the corners of the template with. Just take that off so I can see them. Right, so this, as I said, this is the crucial part, because you know, you want it all lined up properly before you do your cut. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that, I think. Don't want that to move. So I'm just going to gently press down on it with my fingers for now, or my thumbs rather, just to start it sticking. How are we doing for time? We're okay. Right, that seems to be nicely lined up. Quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get a weight to put on top of that and then leave that to, you know, make sure it does stick. And just make sure that's lined up in a way I'm happy with. I've moved it now. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. Let me just... Yeah, that's good. Right, I'm going to go and get a weight to put on top of there. 1 second. And when I say a weight, I mean a 6-litre water bottle full of water. And yeah, again, because this thing is see-through, I will see if this moves when I put this on. Should be okay because I did it before. Oh, no, it's moved. Typical. When I'm doing it off camera, perfect. On camera, not so much. I mean, super glue should set up almost instantly, but for some reason it doesn't. Yeah, as I said, I did do a test run of this off camera, and it worked perfectly well, but it wasn't lined up, so I'm glad it wasn't my actual run, if that makes sense. Right, let me just try that again. Hopefully it won't move this time. So I didn't do that before. Okay, just check that again, that looks good. I'm happy with that. No, I'm not. It needs to come forward a bit. Dang it. How's that? That's good. Get to come forward a bit more. I don't want the weight even. Well, luckily that didn't move. So it's probably starting to set up, which is good. That was a bit of a disaster. Let's just wedge that up so it doesn't rock. How's that looking? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so that's that stage. Now, the other thing, let's lower that camera down, that's going to make me seasick. 1 second. Time is not on my side, so let's crack on with this. Okay, so right, that's setting up, and once that has set up, I'm going to be routing that pocket out. Ooh, I'm not looking forward to that. You know, it could go really well, or it could go disastrously wrong. And if it's the latter, this project is over. Because if I mess, oh, excuse me, if I destroy the top of that guitar, that's it, it's over. Okay, so coming to the neck that I'm going to be putting in, I've now sanded all the finish off of this as well, all the way around the headstock, the neck itself, and the heel. Now, I found something interesting when I took the finish off on the heel. So this is the original heel, this part, and it's 2 different woods. Look, you see that? Completely different wood. I've no idea what's going on there. And that's obviously 2 pieces, and the join isn't even in the middle. So we've got this piece of wood here, which appears to be the same as this. Now I think it's mahogany, but this, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, it's, you know, it's okay. So I added the block onto the end, and you can see I've continued the truss rod channel through there as well. And this is held on, you know, with glue, and I put dowels in it as well to make it stronger. So that is strong, that's not going anywhere. And I reshaped this part of the heel. It was a bit sort of flatter, I'm going to say. And then when I put this block on, you know, it sort of curved down here, and then it went straight. And I thought, well, that's no good. So I've reshaped the whole thing, so we've got a nice sort of arch really, but a curve all the way over. and I think it's like 99.9% finished. I maybe tidy it up a little bit here and there. There's a few little ridges I can feel in places. Yeah, just there. But so I put this block on the bottom and I'll completely reshape the whole heel so that all matches together. And we're about to run out of time. So that is ready as well. And very quickly, this is the fretboard I was going to use for that neck, because it's for that neck. But I've gone with this one instead. Now it's slightly longer and it's a longer scale and it's flat. Now this didn't have any frets in it. I put all these frets in, so I'm probably going to be using this one. More on that later. So in the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other, and we will see you soon in part 4. Peace out.